of Skip Happens, and welcome to it, my friend. It's so good to see all of you. Thank you for hanging out with us. We're live on YouTube. We're on the Skip Happens Facebook. We're on the official Country Music Fan Club Facebook and my personal Facebook. Just because I have 5,000 friends and I just want to say hi to them all. But most importantly is the fact that we say hello to Rob Fitzgerald. Rob, no stranger to the Skip Happens podcast. We were looking it up just a moment ago. It seemed like it was longer, but 7 months ago you came on and we talked about you and everything about you. Hello, Rob. What's up?
I'm good, Skip. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm well. Looks like you've been working out a little bit. Do you have a couple of new tats?
Not new. No, I think I'm due, but no, nothing to do since the last time. So
my wife is not one into tattoos, but all of a sudden, for mother, this is going back a while. She wanted to get a tattoo, just a small one. So we designed one. I've yet to get it for her, but she just reminded me the other night saying, you still owe me for Mother's Day that tattoo. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I guess I got to do it. So
the stigma on tattoos has changed so much too. My parents are still the old school. Every time they see me, like this, it's like, you're not going to get any more tattoos, are you? And I just tell them no, but there is more coming. But
yeah, I know. Well, you've seen this. Well, anyways, I got one there and I have another one over here. But now that I have those two, it's like, you know what? I want to get another one, or I want to dress this up a little bit more, maybe with the radio station call letters or something, or, something along those lines. So, well, I don't know if I do the call letters, because what if I get canned?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's a memory I wouldn't want then, right?
That's right. Exactly.
But I could put a radio tower or something by the microphone I have.
And for me, it just becomes kind of a story of your life. You just add to it when things are significant enough. And it's just that permanent reminder of things, everything on me. Some people just like to get art on them. For me, everything kind of has a meaning.
It's kind of cool.
So that's there. That's right. Yeah.
Well, it's not only you, but other artists that I talk to, and believe me, you have very few compared to some that I've talked to. But every single tat has a meaning behind it.
That's right.
It's not just there. It's, it's got something behind it. So,
that's right.
Tell everybody, where are you?
So I'm just outside of Toronto, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
A place called Burlington, Ontario. Its population has grown significantly. It's a little over 200,000 now, but it's a quieter bedroom community here now. And I kind of grew up in the country north and came down here for work. So it's kind of a good place to be central wise. It's close to the border for when I want to drive into the US for some of the places that I need to go. So it's a good central location, catching planes in Toronto, things like that.
Yeah, and you want to send your smoke our way, that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's funny. I was down on, I know I'm not supposed to talk about it with the radio people, but I was down on a radio tour, and I was all the way down into Alabama, and it was so smoky there. All I was doing was saying sorry on the air.
Well, here in upstate New York, we had to cancel a couple of the baseball games just because the air quality wasn't what it should be. And
that's right.
So anytime I have somebody, or I know somebody from Canada, or we chit chat, it's like, thanks for that.
It made its way all the way over to England.
That amazes me. When you think about it, that amazes me.
Yeah. So, and I guess that's the air currents, and you really get to know what it's really like when you see it end up that far over the pond.
Yeah. And I might add, and he'll probably get mad that I'm mentioning this, but Rob knows what smoke is all about. He's a firefighter also in the beautiful city of Toronto. So
yeah. Third generation. My sister's on the job as well. So it kind of runs in the family. So.
Oh my, do you guys get to work a shift together?
So she is actually on the inspections and investigation side.
Oh, okay. All right.
So when I run into something that I see that shouldn't be a certain way, I'll call her and say, hey, can you come inspect this place?
Yeah.
So so she's from a different side of it, but we chat all the time. Still, when we're in dress uniform, we look exactly the same. But my grandfather was on the job, and my dad too.
Well, same here. Yes. My dad did it. I did it. My brother did it. It's all in the family, man.
It is, and doing this music thing, I'm kind of lucky that I kind of get the time because of my shift work. But I got two great passions that I
You,
absolutely love doing.
you
So
do. And it shows. It shows, man.
appreciate it. Yeah. So, and I get a lot of, you know, life material to be able to write about.
I bet you do.
So
Having been there, some of the situations that you get thrown into, you could go, I'm going to write a song about this or this, I mean,
yeah,
everybody's different. The world is a really weird place.
you're absolutely right. Some things you'd never want to talk about, but it's,
Exactly.
I wrote a song some time ago, and there was this one person, affected me enough. And it was a homeless girl, and she was a teenager, and she kept coming around the station, and she wouldn't deal with authority figures. And it affected me enough that I actually wrote a song about it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So just little things like that, where you get a chance to see more than you would just when you go from home to work and you come home, park your car in the car and go inside. There's just so much more to see out there.
Sure, sure.
That
Did you establish some sort of relationship with this person? Like they could combine, they could talk to you, they could hang out, and you just kind of, or was it just somebody that was there, but yet they didn't want to be there?
they were there, and the circumstances were that there was some abuse going on
Yeah.
at home. There started to be abuse going on in the streets with who she was hanging around.
Yeah.
She got to the point where she was taking water from us, but that was a stretch just to get that far. And
Mhm.
so, and then we just never saw her again. So you never know. Did
Oh,
she?
you never know, right?
That's right. So that's
Yeah.
the other part of the cliffhanger story, that did she go home to her family? Did she turn things around?
Yeah.
Or is it the worst case scenario? You never know.
We're here to talk about your music, but we do have some things in common, and that's kind of why I'm bringing it up and talking about it. But even with the radio station and where we're located in the city of Syracuse, we get a lot of the homeless and a lot of those that I don't know, you just kind of want to go, why? And there was one day there was somebody across the way laying on the field in the field, and swear to God, our receptionist called the police saying, I think there's a body across the street. But he wasn't. He was just under a whole lot of clothes and just doing his own thing. I walked over there, got to find out who he was. I got his name and all that. And we hooked him up with some food and everything else. And then we even offered to get him some help or get him somewhere. Then he said no. Then he just wouldn't accept it
Yeah.
after that. So it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad.
It really is. And they all have a story. And so it's we all look at it and think, why don't they do something different? Well, we don't really know what the story actually is, what the
Right.
circumstances are. So
Exactly. So music. The other stuff, everybody's probably going, oh, that's boring. No, it isn't, though. It's so cool. And definitely thank you for doing what you do in your line of work, as well as giving us some great music from Bad and Boozy to Drunk on You. Bad and Boozy, I was rocking it out just before we went on the air. Of course, Drunk on You is the latest effort that you're pushing out there. And can you tell us a little bit about that?
About the new song, Drunk on You?
Drunk on You.
So Drunk on You was one of these things. It was a noodle around kind of song. And I had this little bit of a soul feel vibe to it. And the hook came, Drunk on You. It wasn't quite the same, but as it started to develop, it just turned into this love song of a comparison between what it feels like to be drunk on alcohol as opposed to what it feels like to be drunk on love. So, and
Wow.
therefore, then it's that what I call the comparison between love and libations.
I love it. Now, how did where'd you come with the idea to write this? I mean, you just mentioned it a little bit, but tell us about that again.
Yeah, a lot of times I try not to make things too contrived. I'll say, and a lot of times I'll just be fooling around on guitar, and it's like, oh, I like this structure. I like the way it feels. It's got a little more. It's not necessarily country. It's got a little soul feel to it, which is another side of some of my influences. And for me, I chip away and find a hook that comes first to the feel, and then write about the hook. And the song took about 3 or 4 different iterations before it finally flowed enough to be able to support the hook. Met with my mentor. I have a mentor out of California, and ran it by him and gave some suggestions. But then I recorded the demo, And when I brought it down to Nashville, the Nashville session musicians were they just went with it. And especially when I said, okay, I'd like to have this a little bit of a Chris Stapleton feel to it.
Mhm.
And, from that soul side, and it just happened to be that session day. Tammy King from the Steel Drivers is playing fiddle on my
Oh,
song.
wow. How cool. Okay.
So they captured it absolutely perfectly, and especially with the guitar part, the guitar intro the way it is, and
Does it sound something like this? So bluesy and so good. I'm just going to play a little clip of it here.
Sure.
I love this.
Babe, you're like a sweet red bottle of wine. Like the very last drop, you got me feeling so fine. Oh, you're like a little shot of tequila. Kisses drive me out of my mind. Don't you know you got me more than feeling alright? Because your love is my buzz. I get drunk on you every night.
So cool. It's so good. It's not, you're right, the soulfulness in that, and then the bluesy sound, a little bit of that, and it bringing it all together, Rob. Wow.
Yeah, and it just felt right when the song was done, and I knew I had to make it a single for this year. And it's funny, I sent it out for some people to critique it and listen to it, and there was another couple that they liked, so we said, okay, we'll put this song last for this year. And it actually has done the best so far of all the song
feel to it. I mean, from somebody that, I sit in the studio all day and I'm playing a lot of music, but there's certain tunes that'll definitely make you want to, I got to turn this up.
That's
and
awesome.
that would be one of those tunes. So
Yeah,
that's
I'm
cool.
real happy with the reception for this one.
Cool.
And this one, as well as all the others, they'll be on the upcoming album that I'll be releasing.
Is any of this getting played on country radio in Canada?
Yeah, it's actually doing real well in Canada, and it's on Sirius XM here as well, and called Top of the Country 171.
Love that. Love that. I wonder if we get that, because I have Sirius too. And
yeah, I believe anybody that gets Sirius can tune into any of the stations. So 171 you'll be able to get to.
I'll have to go check that out. I had no idea that it was 171.
Yeah.
I'm usually on the highway, or, I shouldn't say this too loud, but I'm usually on the highway. But then again, I listen to the Wolf, of course, my station. But
yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. It's the music. How would you say that country music in Canada is different from the country music here in the United States?
There's
a reason I'm asking that, but go ahead.
Yeah, and people have asked me this as well, and I try and keep a pulse on to really what the difference is. The deeper into country land that you go in the US, they cherish the traditional.
Okay.
So even though there's the Morgan Wallens and you've got so many others now that are kind of that are modernizing it a little bit, that actually happens a little more in Canada. There's a little more of the pop side that seems to be pushed a little bit more. For me, I'm kind of a mix in between the two. So I've got a little more of that modern mixed with the traditional.
I can hear that.
Yeah.
And
I'm not going to change that. That's me. So that's where I come from. That's where I feel. So I would have to say that, when you're deep in the heart of Alabama, they love their Alabama. They love their traditional stuff as well. And to the point where some of them say, I don't even like the new stuff. So we're here, most of what you're still getting a lot of the traditionalists here, but you got a lot more people that have jumped on board of country because the lines have been blurred. So
yeah, they are a little bit. You're right. You're right. The lines have been blurred. But if you don't know this and you're watching this and you're listening to this, country in Canada, country music has its own chart, its own everything. There'll be artists on that chart. They could have a #1 song and you wouldn't even know who they are here in the States, and vice versa. I think it works both ways. I know I'm a fan of Doc Walker. I've been a fan of Emerson Drive back in the day. I can go on and on with some of the country artists. I think Carolyn Dawn Johnson was from Canada, I'm not mistaken. Well, she's living now, I think, in Nashville, but
Yeah,
definitely
Michelle Wright's another one.
Michelle Wright. Yes, exactly.
Michelle Wright was signed to a Nashville label way back in the 80s, but she's a traditionalist as well. But now you've got Josh Ross, you've got
Yep.
Bailey Zimmerman.
Yep.
You've got a lot of upcomers that have come from Canada.
Yep.
Now they've made the move to
They
the
made the
US.
move, correct.
Yeah. So it would be nice. It would be nice where the artists don't have to leave, but it's a different market at the same time.
It is. And it's even with radio, it's a whole different feel. It's
That's
like, I know people that work in radio in Canada, north of the border, and it's different. It's different. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's different, at least in my opinion. Anyways,
it is. And I don't ever want to, I'm not going to, talk negatively about one or the other, but you're absolutely right. It is different. But the market is different as well at the same time. So,
So your songwriting, you've had the opportunity to write in Nashville. You're a member of the Songwriters Association, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
So have you been like the Bluebird and other places like that?
Yeah, I had a chance to play the Bluebird. Yeah, that was.
Are you scared to death?
I think I was. I would say I was really nervous. Only
I get nervous for you guys when I hear somebody's going to be playing the Bluebird. I'm like, oh boy.
And it's funny because you shouldn't be, because it's such a small venue. I mean, max you might have 80 people in there.
But that's why.
That's right. But it's so iconic that it plays with your confidence as you're thinking about who's been there in that room, and you can hear a pin drop.
Yeah, and you don't know who's sitting at that high top right in front of the stage.
That's right. Exactly. So I gained some followers, and I played there 2018 or 2019.
Before the pandemic. Okay.
Yeah, and there were people that they started following me since then, just from being in that room.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And still comment on. I remember the time that I saw you at the Bluebird. So yeah, it's a very, very special room.
Do you get involved with any of the big festivals up north, Canada? I know they have a whole bunch of different festivals. Do you get to play those?
As an independent, it's harder to play the bigger festivals. So what has happened in the past year is I got a chance to play what we might call maybe the medium level festivals.
Okay.
That was a big jump for me to be able to jump on a bigger stage and have, 2,000 people in front of me. And because of that, I've already been scheduled for more festivals this year.
See? Yeah. It
So
starts to snowball.
that's right. So, and for me, that's what it was all about. I plug away one song, a single at a time, just kind of build on each one. And it's worked quite well. So 2024 is looking to be a bigger year already for me, which is which is that's what the plan was.
If we have anybody that's listening or watching that wants to do what Rob is doing, some great advice. I mean, because you're still working your full-time gig, but you're still able to do something that you absolutely love.
That's right.
You know,
I actually work 3 jobs. So I have my full-time gig and I have 2 other part-time jobs that actually that go straight into paying for this.
Oh, cool. So, can I ask what they are?
Well, they're related to firefighting. So,
okay. All right. Okay.
So, and the one is it's actually a confined space rescue job.
I got you.
We work with companies that need to go into some very dangerous places.
Oh my God.
That need to work. And I'm thinking, I don't think I'd ever do that job. But there are people that do. Then there are so many people that don't even know that these jobs exist. And
Right. Confined spaces. So would that be like a crawl space or really tightly enclosed and you got to get somebody out of there? See, I could never do that. Yeah. I have a problem going to the doctors and getting one of those scans. I can't go in those things.
You're talking oil, like gas refineries, oil refineries, where they're crawling into heaters to be able to repair what they call the elements that are in there. And there's no room for them to move when they're in there.
Oh my God.
So we have to plan to get them out if that's the case. So I do that, as well as, I'll work overtime. That's kind of the second part to that is, and on top of my main job as well.
So and we're talking about the music, of course, but still, I have a big interest in what else you do. Are you an pump operator, driver, or what is your position on the rig?
So I'm a lieutenant.
Okay, so you get to ride the cab.
That's right. Yeah. So in Canada, we call it an acting captain, but it's the
Okay.
equivalent to a lieutenant. And so when my captain is off, I'm in charge of the truck. And right now, he just happens to be injured. So I've been in charge straight for the last 4 months.
Oh, wow.
So it's and I've got a great crew, and it's just we just have a blast all day long.
Brotherhood.
That's right.
Men and women. It's a brotherhood.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So
Absolutely. Back to the music. So you're heading to Nashville pretty soon.
yeah, hoping to be down there, looking to be down there for CRS. I'll be working with Grassroots to see what we can plan.
I love it.
And I'm hoping to catch up with you while I'm there, and just meet a whole lot of other people in radio. And the idea is I'll be a salesman. So I'm just going to try and sell myself and see if I can get more radio play with the next single that comes out. And yeah.
What, you go to CRS. Is this the first time you've done that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hadn't planned on it before, but we'll see what we can do this time.
I think you might have something. Are you what kind of marketing are you going to do? I've been to CRS for over 20 years. I've gone almost every year. All right. Well over 20. Here's I know back in the day, the artists used to come in. Now they don't do this, but they'd hand you a CD and it'd be like, all right, I'm going to carry this CD around all day. I don't think so. I mean, let's just be realistic. But if you have like a flash drive or something with your music on it, they'll put it in their pocket, and then when they get back to the room or wherever, they're going to listen to the music. So
yeah. So the idea is, and I've done this and it really works, is I actually have a postcard.
bam.
So headshot information, but it's actually got the barcode to
I
scan.
was just going to say a QR code or
Yeah,
something.
they can scan that, and it'll take them right to my website, and from there they go wherever they need to after that.
Perfect and cheap.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
right.
get your word out. Absolutely. You could do that right on your home computer.
That's right. Exactly.
Oh,
So
cool.
you flip it over, it's got bio and everything you need to know right there. And if you want to go further, just scan the code and it'll take
And
you
a free beer at Bar Lines.
Sure. Maybe that's a good idea. There's
I know, a little ticket in there. Yeah. Hey, that'd be cool. But yeah, how cool is that? So you're heading back down there pretty soon. I know CRS is at the end of February this month. Oh my God, it's February already.
Yeah.
How do you say February? February? That's a hard month to say. Think about it.
I just say I'm cold. I need summer to be here.
You're always cold up there.
Yeah. You know what? It's actually not bad here right now. I know Syracuse is not far from us right now.
No, it's not bad here right now either. So.
Yeah, this is the warmest winter we've had.
Yeah, same here. We've I can tell you right now, I think it was like 39 today Fahrenheit.
That's exactly that's what.
So and a couple of weeks ago, it was colder in Nashville, and they had more snow in Nashville than we had here, which is very, very crazy.
I was watching that, and I have friends that live down there. And,
yeah.
It is crazy. I know they get dustings every once in a while, but not snow like that.
No, right. And they get just a few flakes, and they shut the city down because they don't have the equipment to put on the roads to make sure everything's cool. Around here, we, being where you are, you get a foot of snow, and depending on how the wind blows across the lake,
that's right.
And we still go on every day like it's every day.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And we put our snow tires on because we're supposed to here, and here we're driving around in snow tires and just wearing them down.
Do they? Is that a law in Canada?
It's not a law, but it's you get a discount on insurance.
Really?
Yeah. If you have snow tires, they recommend that you do, so that, because if you get into an accident, the first thing they're going to say, did you have your snow tires? So
around here, it's back in the day, I can remember my mom and dad putting snow tires on the car with the studs. You'd hear them go down the road, click, 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 click. But nowadays, with the tires that they have, they say you really don't need snow tires.
Yeah, especially like the truck that I have. I've got mud and snow tires, so I'm not changing those out. But,
no.
But for the two cars that we have, I put snow tires on and do the right thing. Especially, my wife and son and daughter are driving them, so if it helps them to be safer in the snow, I'm happy with that.
Exactly. So what else is going on in the world of Rob Fitzgerald when it comes to music? What do you got coming up here? Like this, I know you're going to CRS as we talked about, but let's go a little bit further down the road. You said you're getting invited to some festivals.
Yeah, so that you have to work on from the fall right into, Christmas and even now. But
Mhm.
the big thing that's taken my time up is I'm releasing a full album.
Nice.
So, and this is my first one. So just going through everything that I need to for the financing side, and I'm going to do an actual run on vinyl.
Really? How
So
cool.
yeah, so we've been meeting with the people for that, investors that want to jump on board on this side. So, and it could be a fairly decent run of vinyl
Mhm.
with the factory here as well as in Nashville. So
Yeah.
that, that
That's coming back because being in my line of work, I'm getting vinyl again. Not to play on the air, but well, maybe to on air we get it all off. We have a service. But I got to carry Underwood album. I got a Scotty McCreery. I've got a I think Cody Johnson. These artists are, they're pressing it on vinyl and they're
that's right.
sending them out, which is pretty cool.
And to the point now where it's like people say, "Are you going to go to CD?" It's like I don't know if I should because cars don't have CD players in them anymore.
No,
And
computers don't.
that's right. Computers don't, laptops don't.
No.
So it may be a waste of going with a media like that instead of going with vinyl. And I think we're going back to the vinyl is, you and I, when we had vinyl, it was all about everything about the packaging, the front,
Yes.
the back,
Yes.
the sleeve, the lyrics.
Yes.
You have that whole experience of listening
Yes.
and how warm it actually sounds. And I surprised my wife last year, and I got a 1960 General Electric console stereo.
Oh man, dude.
It looks like it came from the showroom floor.
Oh,
Uh,
I would die for that. It's
Every
it's funny how it's all come back, but it's so freaking cool.
It's got tubes. It's the
Yeah.
turn. Everything worked. The guy that sold it modified it a little bit where it can also have streaming, so I can stream spot. I just push a button in the back, and
Mhm,
it'll
mhm,
flip it over, and
mhm.
I can stream Spotify to it. So
Cool.
if you just want to hey Google, play this, on the living room stereo, it will, and it sounds so warm because it's original speakers,
Yes.
tubes, everything is still original. And
Anything with tubes, you can't go wrong.
yeah, so it's got that. Not everybody's going to be able to find that, but
No.
now they've got turntables. You come out and you hook it up to your Sonos system.
Right, and, here's the funny thing, I want a turntable. I kicked myself in the ass for getting rid of everything I had like that, and you're talking about this console. I can remember my parents having a console in the living room with a
Yeah,
turntable, with the AM, FM radio, with the television, everything built in.
yeah,
It was the best.
I know. And
And, now we, just recently, my wife and I went to Boston and we stayed in a hotel, and the hotel was very retro. Every single room had a turntable. And I'm
that's
going, this is so freaking cool. And you could go to the lobby and go through albums and take albums back to the room with you to listen to. It was just amazing. And I'm going, honey, I said, I want a turntable.
well,
So
I love that idea. And I was record stores have started to open back up here in town.
really, wow.
So Sunrise Records is back open, and I remember when they first opened. I was the only person flipping through the albums, but I went on Boxing Week, and everybody was flipping through around me and the other side, the next side, and people were standing in line with albums from money they got for Christmas, and that
Wow.
was fantastic. The country section just got bigger in 1 year.
I love it. I love it. What was the first album that you can remember for you?
First album. Well, the first albums were never from me. They were
Well,
they were my
an artist. What was the first album you owned? Let me put it that way.
I would have to say it was probably the Rolling Stones. I was
Rolling
huge
Stones.
into the Rolling Stones. Um,
I
and
remember having Sticky Fingers. That wasn't that the album with the zipper in the front. It's kinda
yeah,
but, yeah, yeah, I had the and me too. The Stones were pretty good.
yeah, you know, artists like the Allman Brothers. I absolutely love the Allman Brothers, and then Brooks and Dunn, Garth Brooks, things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
It was me. Album collecting was quite eclectic, so it
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
just one genre. It was all over the place, and
Oh,
that
yeah, me too. Me
That was
too.
because of my mom. My mom had she had country to soul
Yep.
to, you name it. She had this old record called Can't Stop Dancing. And it was one of those albums that it's got 40 artists played
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wore the grooves right off of it when I was.
Oh, wow. So cool.
Yeah, so now we're back to collecting albums again. So I think just over
Absolutely.
Christmas we got 5 albums between Eric Church, Chris Stapleton, Lainey Wilson, and there's a few
Oh,
others.
wow. Laney. Yeah. Tell you. How heavy was that console? Did you need everybody from the truck crew to bring it in?
So it had to be a certain size. So it's only 48 inches. So it's small, on the small side of what we know consoles. And it
Okay.
was just a stereo. There was no TV in it, but the mahogany it is a
Yeah, well,
two-person carry. Like a
yeah, it
heavy
definitely it'll add weight to it. Yeah. Yeah.
nothing laminate. It is solid mahogany.
That's got to be beautiful, Rob. That is so cool.
I'll send you a picture after this because
Yeah.
when you see it, it's
Good
like
for you. She must have been like ecstatic over it. I'd be like, oh my God, this is the best ever.
yeah. And on nights that I'm not playing, there'll be a bottle of wine opened and we just put on records.
Oh my God. On a Rob Fitzgerald record.
That's I
She's like, I hear you enough. I hear you all day when you're off. When's your next shift?
Yeah, that's funny.
I know. I hear you. So you've got the album coming. What are we talking? 12 tracks or
So it's gonna be, I'm shooting for 10. I'm shooting to
10,
add,
okay.
but it's gonna be at least 9.
Okay.
And which is still enough for a full length album. So
Yep.
but yeah, so they're going to include some of the past songs that I've had, but there's 4 new ones that'll be on there as well. So that's almost half that people haven't even heard yet, and it'll be singles. There'll be upcoming singles that are coming out, all recorded in Nashville.
Very cool. Studio musicians and you and maybe what people don't know is that these musicians that they work for the studio, or you can hire them as an artist and a steel player, a drummer, fiddle, guitar. They're some of the best in the industry because they can play with anybody.
They are. I mean, some of them play with fairly big acts. Tammy Kane,
Yes.
I was mentioning, was just
Yep.
one of them. And the nucleus for the last 3 years has stayed the same for these guys, which is great. So when they kind of put out saying Rob Fitzgerald's got 3 new songs you want to record, that it's pretty much the same people. If they're available, they're on it. And I can't say enough about them, because if you hear the demo with me recording just here in my little old studio,
Right.
then what they put to it from the finished product, after only hearing it in the studio for the first time, then they head back to their own little stations and everything is live off the floor. 7-piece band live. So what you're hearing is live.
So cool.
And most of the time it's one take. We'll run through verse and chorus just for tempo and feel. But then it's a full take, and then some of them stay in their spots to just do some of the overdubs, and they handle the whole thing. I just tell them what I need. And it's funny. It's like I walk in and it's like I'm singing karaoke to my own songs. So it's
well, in a sense, I mean, but it's you still. So.
That's right. And just where they take it, it's, I let them have that creativity, giving them kind of that feeler, because I'll usually have an example as to what I'm looking for, artist wise, so that they get that visual in their head, like Chris Stapleton being, for example, for Drunk on You. But
Yep.
like Bad and Boozy was a little bit of that Brothers Osborne feel.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Or Cadillac 3, something like that. So I kind of give that to them, and then they go and they just capture it.
That's just so cool. So cool. Collaboration. If you could collaborate with anybody, is there anybody you'd like to say, come on, let's do something?
Well, Chris Stapleton's definitely high on my list.
It's coming out with a brand new song, by the way.
And if that's on his newest album, I've probably heard it, because it's
now he's coming out with a brand new song. It's very you mentioned soulful and bluesy. It's kind of got that feel to it. I listened to it today.
Really?
Yeah.
If it's not on the album, I can't wait to hear it. He's one of them. Like guys like Eric Church, I'd love to be able to write with. I'd love to be able to write with Darius Rucker. And there's on the female side, Lainey Wilson's.
Oh my God.
She's just killer to be able to write with her. Chris Young. I'd love to be able to write with Chris
Yeah.
Young.
You know, the names that you're mentioning, absolutely 100%. They're real people. They're really cool. I did a podcast with Lainey here maybe a year ago, and her story just blew me away. How she got to Nashville, lived in a camper, the floor was falling out, plumbing was back, everything was backing up. It was just a mess. She didn't have a pot to piss in, nothing, absolutely nothing. And now look at her. But yet she will never, she's so cool and so down to earth. I actually gave her 4 of my Skip Happens mugs, and she played at the New York State Fair last August 23rd. I showed up, I walked backstage, and she's like, Skip. She goes, oh my God, I got your mugs on my bus.
That's fantastic.
And I'm going, that's so freaking cool.
Yeah.
That's the type of person she is. She goes, I love those mugs. We drink out of them every day. We're on the road. We're double. And she was just the coolest, just.
And her songwriting, I know she's got people that she's with in terms of collaboration, but her songwriting, she's figured it out. She really, really has. And, every song that she puts out, it's like, I wish I could write that. I wish I could write that. So many other artists I said the same thing about, but she's got it going.
Do you ever have any, like, at the station? I don't know if you call it the station, the firehouse, years ago, they used to call it the fire barn, but at least here in the States. But do you ever get any downtime where you can just sit around with the guys and maybe pick up the guitar and say, hey, listen to this. What do you think?
I've done that. It's funny. And it's a captivating audience the whole time. Like,
right.
And I usually do that after I've written the songs, polish them all off, and I'm ready to go into the studio. So it's like, okay, I got these songs to play for you, and let me know what you think, and then they get a chance to hear that, and then when I come back, then they hear the full production.
Are you ever afraid that these guys are going to go, because they know you probably as well as your wife does, that they're going to go, Rob, it sucks. I need to try doing something. You know what I mean? They'll be honest with you, or they could just mess with you too.
They could too. Me being most of their superiors, they're usually not going to say.
That's right. You don't want to piss off the boss.
Yeah. It's my wife that says it, because she's my biggest fan and my biggest critic all at the same time.
I was going to ask you that. And that's usually the way it works. So
yeah. And that's what keeps it real, which is,
God bless her.
And once again, I need people like that, instead of somebody saying, that sounds great. That sounds great.
She's a strong woman. She's married to a firefighter.
Yeah,
and
right.
Everything that you go through emotionally, everything, every day, you never know what you're going to run into, and she's there to support you, and God bless her. It's a strong woman. So
yeah, I give her credit, and you're absolutely right. She definitely is. And she knows what it's all about too. So, but she is, she was the one. I'll just back up a little bit here. I used to be just a songwriter. The idea was that full-time job, I'll go to work as firefighting by day, come home, and I'll write songs. I'll pitch them. And, I was pitching, and a few times the comment came out that, is that you singing? Have you thought about being an artist?
Right.
And because I'd write more from where I would come from, instead of saying, okay, I'm going to pick an artist and write like them. So I consulted with a few people, and Sherry was one of the people. I said, what do you think about this? Because if I'm going to do this, this is how far I need to go. And, it's not Lainey Wilson in a camper with no floor, but it's going to take a lot of my time.
Sure.
And, it's my kids are older now, which is good that, we have our time together. But she said, go for it, because the way these songs are turning out, and the way especially after recording in Nashville for the first time, it was like, I think there's something here that we should give it a try. And now we travel together. So that's what we have, to be able to go from place to place and see places, especially down in the US, that we never would have thought to see before.
Bring her to Nashville.
Yeah. Well, she loves Nashville. She actually,
Bring it out for CRS. Yeah, then she go, I'm never coming again. This is too crazy.
You may hear her answer in the background saying, yes.
You can come. We'll take care of you.
She loves Nashville.
I know. It's such a great city. Such a great city, even though Broadway's a little crazy now for us old folks. I call myself old, even though I'm not, but still, my wife and I were there in June, and we went to the NASCAR race. We went to the Nashville Super Speedway, and we went to the the NASCAR, both NASCAR races that weekend. And then we got back early on a Saturday. And I said, come on, honey. We were staying at the Omni right downtown. I said, come on, we're going to run over to it. Let's go down to Broadway. Let's get a cold one. Let's walk around a little bit. We got down there and it's just like, let's go back to the hotel, hang out at that bar, because it was just mobbed. I mean, you could walk on heads. It was crazy.
So I believe I was down there the same time you were, because I remember you posting, and I think the NHL draft was going on at the same time.
I think you're right.
That's why it was crazy. It was crazier than usual.
That's right. There was something going on.
Yeah, Thomas Rhett was performing. They had the street blocked off, and
they had the street blocked off. You know what? I think it was right after that. Right after that, I think it was coming up. That's right. The street was blocked off. It was mobbed. I mean, there were issues almost on every corner, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
People getting pushed and shoved. And I'm just like, this isn't for us. We're going back to the hotel. So
unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to really enjoy it. I had dates that I needed to be at play the next day. So we had to turn in early. But it's always fun. It's, everybody goes there, everybody's happy, and it's all about the music, which is great.
So what do you do on your days off? Because I know, working the shift work, you work so many days on, you get so many days off, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, that's how it works here in the States. But do you ever take time for just yourself?
Well, that's most of what my weekdays off is. First half of the day will be music business. The rest of it will either be writing or practicing for upcoming shows.
Or the honey-do list.
But there is a honey-do list there all the time. So my daughter doesn't live at home anymore, so she actually has to call. I had to go over there today and fix her toilet.
That's
my parents call me up. I have to go fix their computer. So there's
dads do.
many different directions. So I'm able to juggle it.
That's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool.
So it's good.
You got your guitar in your lap. Did you want to play a song?
Yeah, sure. I didn't know if you wanted me to play Drunk on You, or
you pick it, but I'm digging the song. I know I got the recorded version here, but let's go for it.
So this is a song that was a single that came out this time last year.
Okay.
And it was basically written with a little bit of frustration. It's, why are we not nice anymore? Why do we not say sir or ma'am anymore? Why, if we could go back to a place where we got more of that and live by the traditional country lyrics of yesterday, what would that town be like?
Wow.
So the song is called If Country Was a Town.
All right, I'm going to shrink. I'm going to go down. The screen's going to be all you. So don't think I lost you. I did not. So
sounds good.
All right, here we go. Rob Fitzgerald.
I heard a song playing on my radio, how it used to be a long time ago. Wondered how we got to where we're at right now. Whatever happened to some man? Hold the door and a helping hand. Now we're on our phones in self-checkout lines while we paint a perfect life online. If we could live the lines of a George Strait song, that'd be a real good place to start. A place we can all belong. If country was a town, not a lock on a door to be found, and we'd be okay to get in the truck and take the long way around. There'll be room here at the table for you to join us if you're able. And we'd be living in the middle of the moments that really count. Imagine where we'd be if country was a town. Showing up, working hard, Sundays at church and time with your mom. Falling in love ain't a throwaway, 'cause the roots we put down are here to stay. Jordan Davis singing just by dirt, where our sleeves are all rolled up, and digging deep don't hurt. If country was a town, not a lock on the door to be found, And we'd be okay to get in the truck and take the long way around. There'll be room here at the table for you to join us if you're able. And we'd be living in the middle of the moments that really count. Imagine where we'd be if country was a town. It's not just a place, it's a feeling. Maybe we'll get there if we believe it. If country was a town, not a lock on the door to be found. And we'd be okay to get in the truck and take the long way around. We'd all meet at the bar at a favorite table, and friends will join us if they're able, living in the middle of the moments that really count. Imagine where we'd be. It all starts with you and me. Imagine where we'd be if country was a town. Imagine where we'd be if country was a town.
Wow. Wow. Now you're over there and I'm over here. Wow. That so true. So true.
That's right. Yeah. So, and it's not meant to be a negative song. It's just meant to be, what happens if we get back to this?
Yeah, no, exactly right. I get it. I get it. So true. So true and so good. I just text my wife to see if my son Zach wanted to come down and say hello. You were talking about the fact before that Zach and I go on, we do a podcast called Zach Attack with Dad. We never know. I never know which way it's going to go, but it's always so much fun. And of course, if people watching or listening, my son Zach has Down syndrome, and if you follow Skip Happens, you'll see the Zach Attack with Dad podcast. And he's a big fan of artists. He's a big fan of firefighters. He, because I've done it. He's just, and it's Grant. Well, it was in the family. It's just amazing. I don't know if my wife's going to bring him down or not. But our last podcast, I don't know if you have pets. Did you say you had pets?
We did. We had a 13-year-old and you know what? Rusty looked exactly like your dog. Identical.
We just lost our dog.
Yeah, I know. And I'm sorry to hear that. And I saw that you posted that, and I'm very sad to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that.
It's 14 and a half years. She was a yellow lab. But the reason I'm saying that is, as well as I do, they're part of the family. So we kind of knew something was happening. It's the first time we've ever actually lost a dog at home, if that makes sense. That on a weekend, and it's like, now what do you do? But we had her, she's now in with our other dogs and a little display in the family room. But Zach, he was so grown up on that last podcast talking about it and how he just handled it like such a man, so proud, just everything. Sometimes you wonder how people are going to react and how they take it. But that's what I wanted to tell you. And I guess you did see it on my Facebook that Zach was, or you saw Miley, and then, to see Zach and how well he handled it and supported his mom and everything. It was just, because Miley was, everybody's dog and we loved her. Mm-hmm. But my wife works from home, and in the upstairs office, Miley would sit there every day, just sit with Nance every single day. And now it's like, it's so quiet, but Zach kind of, he knows that, and he just does his thing. So this is so cool. It's hard to explain, but it's just cool.
I know. And it's great to hear the resilience as well, because, you never know with your kids what's going to happen when something adverse like that actually happens.
Right. It's hard.
So it's because I'll tell you, and it's still tough for us. It's been 4 years, and we're kind of still not over. We won't. A lot of people will bounce back and say, "I'm going to get another dog to kind of replace that." But for us, it's like then it would just be a constant comparison. So we're a little more mobile now as well. But
sure.
Everything that would be happening, it's like, would I be comparing that dog to Rusty? And Rusty looked exactly like your dog. Exactly.
This is going to be 28 years. we've had a dog in this house for the last 28 years. We've always had a dog.
Yeah.
And we've always gone, we had one, as that one got old, we got another one. There was always that overlap, which was, kind of nothing's ever easy, but it's still kind of, there was always a dog,
That's
always
right.
a member of that family. We got one for Miley. We rescued a dog at Nike, absolutely beautiful dog. Nike got cancer and passed away last year. So now we didn't have somebody from Miley, or else we would have Nike now and Miley. You know what I mean? It would be that overlap. But
Yeah.
now this is the first time in 28 years that we have not had a dog in the house. And my wife and I have talked about it. And it's like, you know what? First of all, it's the middle of winter. It's kind of hard to get out there and do something with the dog if the weather's crappy or whatever. Also, we have some traveling coming up. For example, Nashville for me, and my wife's got business in New York City the same week. So, somebody would have to come over and watch the dog and make sure, and this and that. But now we don't have to worry about that. And we're not in any hurry to get another dog at this point, just because of our age, and we want to do a few things. And like you said, being mobile, you're going to go out, you may travel. We go to the Outer Banks every year. We might just wait a little bit. So.
And you'll know when the time, we've even talked about it now that, we're not saying that we're not going to get another dog, that there will be the time that it's like,
you never know.
We'll know when that time is again.
Right. I guess.
And it will happen. So our household was always the same. We always had a dog as well.
Always a member of the family. Rob Fitzgerald, you're so cool. I mean that in a good way. I totally respect what you do, who you are. The music is, you definitely got something. Your wife is right. I mean, not only right. I mean, listen to what you're doing, dude. You probably go, oh, it's my voice. Blah, blah, blah. But you know what? From somebody that I listen to it and I go like Bad and Boozy, I go, this is freaking awesome. And then I hear Drunk on You and the bluesy feel to that. I said, this is awesome. And the song you just performed, it's so true. And
and that's the idea, is to just take life and just bring it to the foreground, and let's talk about it, because something like that, Bad and Boozy is just one of those songs. It's like, we've all experienced Bad and Boozy. Whether we don't do it anymore or we still do it now, we've all experienced it. But it's and that's the whole thing about writing is where does it take you? And I've got enough people in my camp now that keep joining in, that solidifies that there's something happening, and there's more to come, which is
got a great team. Grassroots, and I think I mentioned this before, they are one of the, if not the best, when it comes to supporting their artists, getting their artists out there. They're well worth every single penny.
They are. I can't say enough about what they do for me every single time that I put a single out. How hard they work, and how good their reputation is out there as well. So it's great to be able to have the opportunity to be with them.
All right, can't wait to see you in Nashville, dude.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, Skip.
I don't know. What do you drink?
Anything.
All right. No, should I like have a Canadian beer ready?
No.
Light or something, or
I don't want to look like a tourist. So it's
he's from Canada. Can you tell? Look what he's drinking. No,
whiskey, bourbons, the beers, PBR to Budweiser to anything.
I got you covered, dude. I can't wait to buy you a drink.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you.
To have a lot of fun and have a really cool conversation. Sit there and laugh and whatever.
That's right. And and I'll just see what kind of strategy I can work out. And I'm just, the big thing is to just take it all in.
Absolutely. We've been chatting with Rob Fitzgerald tonight. He's up in Canada. He does apologize for all the messes he sent our way earlier this year, but it's all, you must get sick of that.
We're always sorry. So.
And one thing I didn't hear any A's tonight.
Yeah, you know what? I think I have more of a, being able to talk internationally like this to not to make a conscious effort. And I think it's working that I don't think about it.
I mean, I would have never known unless you told me where you were from, and I already knew that kind of. So that's cool. Hey, God bless you, my friend. I want you to stay safe in your job and think about retirement and going into music full time. And you know, we'll be playing your songs on the radio forever. Yeah, it's so good. Wait a minute, what's he saying? Michael James. Michael is actually, he's commenting, he is my godson. He's also the chief of police in one
Wow.
of our communities. Do they even sell Canadian beer in Nashville? Yes, they do.
Yeah, they
Oh,
do.
man, do they? That's a good question.
I could have. I think I've seen Canadian down there. Molson can. Think I've seen Molson
Because
Canadian.
you're right. You might have seen Molson.
Yes.
I don't think you're going to see a Labatt. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I don't
Michael,
know.
that's a good question.
Yeah, good question. And
We're going to check into that.
yeah,
I should call bar lines right now if I had the number. I don't know. I think it's on the glasses that I stole from the bar, but don't tell anybody. You don't want to know that. Anyways, yeah, that's cool. No, that's a good question. Rob, thanks for joining us here tonight. God bless you, my friend. I want you to stay safe. This is going to be so awesome to be able to say hello to you. And that's one thing. We do the podcast and with a lot of the independent artists and people like yourself, and then they do come to Nashville. They show up at CRS. It's so cool to say hello. It's just like, oh, you know what I mean? I mean, this is one thing. You see me on a screen. I'm looking at you on a screen, but to actually physically shake your hand and thank you for being you is pretty cool.
I really appreciate that. I'm looking forward to meeting you and so many others that are going to be there as well. But I really appreciate you taking the time to do this, Skip. It means an awful lot to me, and it's always a great conversation.
It absolutely always here. Anytime you have something coming out, you tell Shannon to give me a call and say, well, you know, you want to get on Skip Happens. You just reach out to me. You can do that as well. If somebody wanted to get a hold of your music, I would imagine they can go to all socials, wherever they get their music.
Yeah. So any of the streaming platforms, you know, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, you name it, from there on in, it's just look for Rob Fitzgerald. YouTube, you can find a lot of videos that I'm posting up there now, whether they're shorts or full length. Just look for Rob Fitzgerald, and all the socials, Rob Fitzgerald Music.
Awesome. Rob, you're awesome. Thanks for joining us tonight. Stay on the line there. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching Skip Happens in a good way. It's been a great night.